Am I on? Good evening, Cosmos Church pre-youth beginners. Today, we are going to be learning about worship. So, we serve a mighty God. He alone is holy. So, Jesus said that we will worship the Father in spirit and in truth. Why is the camera fogging up? So, with that being said, how do we worship God? How can I worship God all by myself? And what do I have to know about God to worship Him? So, of course, during COVID-19, how many of you are familiar with the coronavirus? So, we know that this is a bit scary because this is causing you to have to stay home a lot. You're so used to being able to leave the house, and now all of a sudden you have to stay home. But things are starting to go back to normal now, thank God. But how many of you are thinking that during the time where we had to stay home, many churches were closed? Not this one, because this one's completely online, but many of the churches that you might be going to are closed. So, if you are at home, how can you worship? I want you to think of ways where you can worship at home. And yes, you do have online worship, but what are some ways where you can worship by yourself? Because Jesus worshiped, he went off into the wilderness and he worshiped. So independent worship is not a complete lie. So the Bible does teach us that we should worship by ourselves at times. Now, let's read some Bible verses. Number 2. Let's read Psalms chapter 150, verse 6. Let everything that has breath praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Now, let's read Acts 16:25. About midnight, Paul and Silas were praying and singing hymns to God, and the other prisoners were listening to them. So, of course, in prison, you're completely alone. You're not around other people. While nowadays it's two to a cell, and you have people around you in prison in modern times. But back in biblical times, you're isolated when you're in prison. You are locked down. You didn't have anybody around you. So people worship God anytime and anywhere. People have worshipped him even while they were in prison. So here are some ways you can worship God. Prayer. Can you see that very well? You can worship him through prayer. You can also worship him through song. I hope you can see it. You can also worship him through good behavior or refusal to sin. I probably shouldn't be writing on the walls this late at night because there's literally, yeah. Oh, that does not help. Okay. So those are just three ways where we can worship God in by ourselves. So with that being said, we are to worship God only. People worship him in many places and in many different circumstances. Where we are to worship and what circumstances are not as important as how we worship. We are to worship God, and he is in spirit, in truth. Our hearts what matter to God, not our location, not the size of our choir, the color of the pew cushions in our church. So, how we worship doesn't matter. It's where. I mean, it's not where, not how, but hold on a second. Our hearts, yeah, our hearts is what matter to God, not anything else. Let's put it that way. Have a good day and may God bless you.